So should America continue to waste its time with the WTO? Here now to discuss, Morgan Ortagus, former intelligence analyst and former Treasury attaché to Saudi Arabia. Fox News contributor David Webb. He's also Sirius XM Patriot host, and Ford O'Connell, CivicForumPAC chairman. Ford, this is not the only example. We brought a case a long time ago against Canada on dairy, and yet they still have 270% tariffs on our dairy imports or exports into their country. My problem is the WTO is an ineffective organization that's been gamed by China, and anyone that thinks that they're going to gallop to our rescue is out of their minds.
Guess what? You're absolutely right, Charles. Look, and President Trump's view is very simple. It's dysfunctional, and it takes too long to process claims. To your point that you had a situation with the Canadian dairy claim that was in the early 2000s, and we still don't have a solution on that. With respect to China, the problem is China doesn't have most favored nation status and basically gets to play by the rules of a third world island nation like Barbuda when it comes to lodging complaints against the U.S. and back and forth. It is dysfunctional. It needs to be rejiggered. And basically, no, I do not think President Trump wants to leave the WTO, but he definitely wants to find some negotiating and some leverage to make sure it's more favorable to the United States and the American worker.
Morgan, it's obvious that everything's ratcheting up right now because you see last week I saw it in a consumer sentiment survey. Today I saw it. Here's the interesting thing. It was mentioned all over and over again in the manufacturing data, even though that data came in significantly stronger than Wall Street thought it would. Yeah. But we are seeing it, and it will be there. If we don't get a resolution to this, there will be pain, and people should understand that.
Yeah, I think that there's so much going on in this. First of all, if you look at the WTO, if Ford was completely right about China and the most favored nation status. However, we cannot get out of the WTO without an act of Congress, and there's no appetite in Congress for that at all. I think the president's advisors have even told him that's dead on arrival. So what you will have to look to is reform. What I'd like to see this administration do is to really focus their efforts on countering China. I think that that's the real threat. I mean, the theft, the IP theft that China takes on, the amount of stealing of our businesses' information, it's a huge problem. I'd like to see the focus there, but I understand why the president is using all of this.
What would he do, though, to specifically focus? Because I think their primary focus is on Made in China 2025, Shenzhen, and technology, and I think that's where they're really going to apply the screws to China. Which, by the way, those tariffs don't begin on Friday; the other ones do. So, is there something beyond this? Because I thought the olive branch was ZTE. And I'm hoping that will be enough for Xi to come back with a reasonable deal.
I think it's going to be a really tough negotiation with China. Xi's going to see just how far he can push the president. The CNAS, the Center for New American Security, has a whole report on different ways that we can counter China. Part of that, would be protecting our companies, here in the U.S. From these trade action, from the IP theft. And I think what you really have to do is look at building an international coalition. So where I agree with Ford on the WTO is this is where we need to strengthen these institutions, but these multilateral institutions are not effective if everybody's not coming to the game equally, and that's where the president is hitting back, not only in WTO but also in NATO as well.
I mean, the first IP complaint we took to the WTO way back in 2007, we had Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, European communities, India, Japan, Korea, Mexico, Thailand, Turkey. Listen, I understand where President Trump's frustration comes from, David, with respect to these organizations, whether it's the WTO, the United Nations, even NATO, and we've been locked into these agreements and we have to deal with it. But on top of that, President Trump dealing with additional pressure. For instance, the Chamber of Commerce now spending millions of dollars to diss the president's efforts to fix this in the midst of his negotiation. That can't help.
Well, it doesn't help, but let's look at the Chamber of Commerce for what they are. This is the same group that was pushing the Gang of Eight amnesty, so let's really consider that. The Chamber of Commerce is being backed by some heavy-duty GOP players who favor that approach on that issue. Tells you where they are. I like where we are. What we have is a world, let's use the FIFA association here, where the world's been playing soccer on one field. We've been playing American football. I actually like the position America's taken. Is there going to be pain for some sectors? Yes. Are there going to be pain for some producers? Yes. But we have got to get to a point, as Sarah Sanders said earlier, about 2 hours ago in the briefing, where we may never get to the no tariffs, where the president would in an ideal world, love to be, but we'd like at least parity on tariffs. The problem is that you do have to take on not just China, you have to take on the smaller issues because they're all part of a larger approach, fixing the WTO, dealing with the world, which has ganged up on America, but yet we're still in the driver's seat, and I think it's important that this is where we need to be right now.
Just moments ago, General Motors saying that they would have to pull back production if this tariff skirmish continues to escalate. We heard on Friday Ford with Toyota said the average price of a Camry would go up $1,800. So, obviously, again, there is a certain amount of pain that comes with this. I think right now that the majority of President Trump voters are willing to deal with that if they think and they do believe. First of all, they know he's trying to do the right thing, but more importantly, ultimately, we need fair trade. We want fair trade. We want these other countries to remove their barriers.
Well, look, you're absolutely right, Charles. There's no question that President Trump is taking on risk here. But at the same time, we've not had a long-term trade strategy since the end of World War II. And essentially, I salute him for the stand he's taking and for the long-term, viewpoint and lens he's looking at. Because at the end of the day, the American worker and American business have been hurt by unfair trade practices in the global economy. Here's what Donald Trump is saying, and I don't think the media lets this out. He's basically at least telling our allies more so than China, which is a different animal. You drop your trade and your barriers and your tariffs, we'll drop ours. But guess what? There's a reason why they've been able to get away with this for so long, because they know that there's always another election and the president will always cave, because at the end of the day, they want to win. And Donald Trump is saying, I'm going to forsake it all because guess what? I'm going to side with the American worker. And I think that is absolutely the right way to go.
Well, they've been used to this unfair advantage that they've had. They have their sovereign economic interests. They have subsidized industries more than we do. We have ours, to be fair. But the problem is the world has had the benefit of the American strength in the dollar and the American economy to play off, whether it's China, whether it's Europe, the EU deficit. You look at what's going on with the economies that are degraded in South and Central America. So we need a change in where we are in this picture, and we have got to do it playing a very hard ball. Long-term, Ford's right. We need a long-term strategy. And Lighthizer doing a very good job on this, keeping this together.
But I do want to say, just to sort of level set everything, is that there is a lot of risk here, as you alluded to, Charles. And I think from the perspective of multinational corporations, what I think is worrying to CEOs that are trying to plan for the midterm is the uncertainty. So if you know that NAFTA is going to change, great. You can plan your supply chain and you can make investment decisions based on that. But without knowing what some of these trade deals are going to look like, I do think that it does have businesses cautious. I think when you look at the German auto manufacturers that have plants in South Carolina and have plants in Alabama, there's a lot of stuff. There are German auto manufacturers that are providing jobs for Americans in really important states.
But look at why they moved here. See, this is an important thing. Why did BMW move to Columbia, South Carolina? Why is Mercedes down on the Gulf Coast? They moved here for a reason. They couldn't function as effectively the same way we have problems with the UAW and GM. They looked at their countries, the cost of supply chains, cost of supply line, and goods. So they moved here for a reason. But we're going to have to get to a point where the business can make a better long-term decision than short-term compliance based on each nation.
Also, we should separate two guys. The market, particularly the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which gets their profits from overseas. Look what's happened with NASDAQ. Look what happened to the Russell 2000, which is a domestic-oriented market. We're talking record highs almost every week for those. So, we can't let the market sway us when it comes to this. Either you want a level playing field for America long-term, or you want to blink right now, because the consequences will be more detrimental if we blink.